Hello, everybody, and welcome to Matrix Live Season 4. I think episode 30, actually, in the end. It's an interesting week, isn't it? I was hoping to do an old school Matrix Live with Amandine, but it's got to almost 8 o'clock in the office here. And yeah, whilst the entirety of the New Vector team who hang out in the office here have been working from home since the end of last week, that means the office is empty, and so we've been using it as a base of sorts, at least in the short term. But unfortunately, it's got sufficiently late that it's just me. So have a empty Matrix office, and what to say about what's been happening this week? We're seeing so much traffic, it's untrue. Poor Matrix.org is completely melted, if you hadn't noticed. I think it's also been exasperated by some changes to how we've been handling the end-to-end encryption, either in terms of where we initiate and start initiating new outbound sessions in the E2E, which means that we're seeing it being slower than it should be, even if the non-E2E stuff is relatively usable. So apologies if you've been bitten by that. I know I've been bitten by it a lot. We're working on it as fast as we can. We went and landed some performance improvements on Synapse at the beginning of the week, which we hope were going to be quite transformative, in that it was for the first time doing some proper upgrades to the V2 state resolution algorithm to optimize how it calculates its off-chain differences, where previously it was going and walking through the entire chain of auth events when you're trying to resolve two different copies of the room together, because each message comes with what we call auth events, which justifies we are allowed to send this message into a room. And so every time you do anything with a message, you have to check whether it's been authenticated to do this. And we were doing this pretty brute force. So Eric came up with a much sexier algorithm that goes and in parallel walks the two branches of the auth chains until you see commonality between them in order to speed up how this happens. The bad news is that it improved things a bit, probably 5, 10, 20%. And that is nothing like the headroom that we need in order for Matrix.org to keep above water. So what we've done instead is to go back fully to making Matrix scale multi-master, and to scale as wide as we possibly can. This is still going to be days, possibly weeks away, so don't hold your breath, but we're going as fast as we can to go and use Redis to plug the master into the workers, and then we're going to start with typing receipts, splitting them out to be multi-master, and then probably something else, and then the actual event persistence. But making event persistence itself scale multi-master is a bit of a nightmare. And so we're just trying to build some confidence, honestly, that the architecture is going to work. So that's what's been happening over in Synapse. Meanwhile, on peer-to-peer land, it's super exciting. If you haven't played with p2p.riot.im, just go there now. You'll have your own dendrite running in a browser, and it's now hooked up so that the room directory works. So you hit the explore button, and you can see what other random rooms other people on the P2P matrix mesh have published at a given point. It still has a lot of limitations. I'm not sure that we've got backfill working on it yet, so when you join a room, you can't see the history. You also don't have store and forward support, so if you try to talk to somebody whose server is down, then they're not going to get the message when they come back, unless you are also still hanging around and able to resend it when it resyncs with them. What other big limitations? It doesn't have multi-device support, so each server, each node is its own device, its own user, effectively. What else? I think those are the main limitations. The media repository isn't hooked up yet, which is a bit of a shame, so no avatars or file transfer. But honestly, as a proof of concept, it's increasingly usable, and I've kept mine open all day, and it's been fun to see odd people coming and going, moving back and forth through it. So go and play with p2p.riot.im. I suspect we'll make a big song and dance about it next week. once possibly we've got backfill in and a couple of other nice bits. What else is going on? On the Riot side of things, we are plugging away, trying to get end-to-end encryption out there by default still. Good news is that some of the hardest changes have landed now. I believe that the Quad S, we had to change how the Quad S keys work, which are the secure server-side storage and sharing API that is basically a secure box on the server where you can store data or share it directly between other clients. And we screwed up the encryption on that. We had to change it from asymmetric to symmetric and fix that. That's now happened. We also have been trying to work out how to incorporate TOFU, trust on first use, into the end-to-end encryption shield dynamics at the last minute. Because we realized that a lot of people have been trying to verify inbound because they want TOFU semantics rather than comparing emojis and things out of band like you're meant to do. So we've been trying to figure out how to get that in, but it's looking pretty promising. Another exciting thing that we haven't spoken about are nightly builds of Riot Desktop. As of last week, we've been shipping nightly builds of Riot Desktop, originally for macOS and Windows. Unfortunately, the Windows builds have had to stop because, ironically, the Office being abandoned here means that we've had to split up the build servers and we only have so many hardware signing keys. So we no longer have the Windows signing key in the right place. If anybody has, I think we'll go and try to get another one so we can get it back up. But if you want to experiment with Riot Nightly, go to packages.riot.im/nightly and go and have a look. And particularly on macOS, it's particularly fun. It works really, really well. And huge congrats to Dave, who spent ages getting that to work. And it also means that we have just developed equivalent of all sorts of features like Seshat, which is the in-client full-text search, as well as scope for push-to-talk in Discord-style semantics, so you can unmute your Jitsi wherever you are. That isn't there yet, but at least we have a build pipeline now to be able to ship this out and properly test them in desktop. What else is happening on Riot? Tech Guy's been doing lots of really good first-time user experience stuff and quality of life improvements. We finally have a keyboard shortcut overlay on Riot Web if you hit Command / or Control / depending on your operating system, which allows you, which shows you all the keyboard shortcuts, including Alt up and down and Shift Alt up and down to go between recent rooms and red rooms. What other stuff? I probably should have written some notes on this first. On mobile, just plugging away on E2E, getting it all working together nicely, which is looking pretty good. Bridges, we have a new starter. A chap called Christian has joined Halfshot and working on bridges, which is looking really exciting in terms of having more than just one person trying to look after all of the weird and wonderful bridges that we have flying around the place. So welcome, Christian, and good luck with that. And meanwhile, oh yes, the big news of today was that we have gone and also on the modular side of things. So let me take off my Matrix hoodie and put on my new Vector hoodie. As modular, the SaaS hosting that we do as New Vector has just launched a big Jitsi cluster that scales elastically with the very latest Jitsi stuff, which is a huge improvement. We were using it to have a remote working tea time earlier, and the quality was indescribably improved over the old Jitsi deployment. And critically, the old Jitsi one was completely overloaded due to all the traffic we've seen this week. I think bandwidth was up a factor of 10 or so. And so we accelerated setting up this cluster. It's meant to be a paid service for modular customers, but in practice, we've just given it away for free, thanks to the crisis going on at the moment. And go and have a play. Hit the video call button in Riot and it will come up. And we've also pointed the old jitsi.riot.im system at it as well for now. So there you go. Hopefully that was an interesting update, and thanks for watching Matrix Live. Good luck wherever you are, stay safe. I'm going to go outside and face the zombies, and speak to you soon. Bye.